channel today, and we are doing a brand new Sims 4 speed build today. And so today is definitely one of those days where I can finally sit down, chit chat, and talk about a build that I truly love, which is a 32 tile tier 1 micro home in Windenburg for a single parent with a toddler. And I, for one, am so happy about this build because ever since we got Tiny Living, I felt more inspired and more obsessed actually when it comes to building, especially when it comes to tiny homes. Because tiny homes are meant to be very small, compact, and very limited in space. And ever since Tiny Living was released, we got a new lot type perk technically. And if you set your house to tiny home residential, you're able to get 3 different tiers, but each tier there's special perks. And with tier 1 and the other tiers, there's reduced bills. And so if you are in a very, difficult situation when it comes to money or simoleons, I definitely recommend downsizing your Sims home to like 32 tiles, 64, or like 128 tiles, just so you can have your Sims have reduced bills and kind of be smart about it too. And that's what I did with this home. And I built it in Windenburg for one specific reason, is just to have a different atmosphere, because I always build in Oasis Springs or Willow Creek or Newcrest or even like Brindleton Bay. And I haven't really built in Windenburg in a very long time. And I kind of miss that atmosphere, and I kind of miss, the joy of the European culture that it has. And so that's what I did. I bulldozed a lot that was here, and I felt like it just needed a new area, like a new look to it. And that's what I did here. And I'm proud of it. And the funny thing is, every single time I build a house in The Sims, all my friends, all my people in the Spring Squad tell me that I build expensive houses. Well, not today, folks. This house is 33,690 simoleons with 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom. Well, technically 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom, but the thing is, what I did here for this build is that I built the toddler room inside of the roof. And so if you want to follow the tutorial that I did about 2.5 years ago on how to build a room instead of a roof, I will leave that link down below in the description and also in the card in the video, so you can watch it and kind of learn how to do what I did, and especially build your own tiny homes with a room instead of a roof. It, 1, saves space, and 2, it saves you money, because technically, yeah, it kind of does, because if you want to build a second floor, you have to use walls to build that second floor. But luckily, I did it for free by just adding a half-gabled roof, and then placed it where I wanted it and positioned it where I wanted it, and it worked for me. And I'm happy about that. And the house may not look like 32 tiles, but it is. What I did is a bit of a workaround, or technically, quote-unquote, cheating the system, as people will call it. All you have to do is basically build individual walls, like one line of wall, however you want. Like if I want to do like a little chimney, a fake chimney, like I usually do for my builds, I build like 3 separate individual walls and place them together to look like they are one piece of wall, if that makes any sense. It's weird, but it works. It definitely works as a workaround, cheating the system, however you want to call it. It worked for me, and it can work for you. Trust me. Reduce bills, cheating the system, individual walls, roof instead of a room, whatever you want to call it. I did it. You can't call me out on it, because I called myself out on it. Haha. Anyway, so like I said, this build has to be hands down one of my ultimate favorites, because 1, I haven't built a tiny home in a very long time, and 2, reduce bills, and 3, it's a tiny home for tiny living, and I, for one, kind of like it. So for the story that I have for this build, that I kind of came up with in my head just now, was a single parent, not really sure who I want for it yet, a single mom, single dad, don't know just yet, but a single parent who had lost their spouse recently, or a couple years ago, and they were looking for a brand new start, looking for a new area to kind of adventure off into, live, and kind of see where life takes them. And so they decided to move to Windenburg for a fresh new start in a brand new home. They hired a contractor to build them a tiny home that fit, 1, their needs and also their budget. And luckily enough, they had a budget of 45,000 simoleons. So that leaves them with like 15, 13 some odd thousand simoleons left in their simoleon bank account, I guess you would say. And I'm happy that they did that because where they were living in Delso Valley at the time, in that very like small ranchy area of Delso Valley. It wasn't the best fit for them, but at the time it was, because the way they were living was not the best with their spouse. Their spouse had a very difficult job in the acting career, and it kind of flopped. Like literally, it flopped on them in 2.5 seconds, where they were doing so well, doing so great, and then it flopped on them when they went into the wrong crowd at the wrong time, because they were looking for some help for like money, or just help around the house basically. And one thing led to another. When they hired a babysitter to help their child, with other things, that said babysitter wasn't the best babysitter in the world, and that babysitter had some bad people in their lives that didn't necessarily had the best intentions of helping others, if you get my drift. And so, yeah, they got fired, of course, but then the father, or the parent, the other spouse, basically got into the fight, and it got a little bit too rough, and they are now gone. But so when all that happened, all that's said and done, they were like, okay, well, it's time to leave this wretched place and time to go somewhere else. And so that's why they moved to Windenburg, a very secluded area on the island. And it's actually kind of like the right fit for them, because the island, very small, very quiet, and it just seems like the perfect time for them to go into that area, if you know what I mean. I don't know. Words are complicated right now for me, because I'm like speaking gibberish or who knows what. But you can see that I'm working on the play testing of this build, how to make sure everything is actually functional and working correctly. And trust me, it is. Don't worry. I got it working. Don't worry. I did it for you. But like I said, the sim wanted to figure out where life was going to take them, how they were going to get there, and also if they were doing it for the right reasons. And I honestly believe that they were doing it for the right reasons, because one, they needed to get out of that very toxic area of their lives, and also they needed a new place for their son. And so that's what they did. Windenburg has like a very good area. I mean, they do have to travel to the main area of Windenburg by boat, because that's all they got. Even though they have a car, doesn't make any sense to have a car on the island, even though we don't technically have cars in The Sims 4. It's in debug. Yeah, so no cars officially, but in debug there are. Not functional, just decorative. Either way, like I said, they have to travel to the main area by boat, and it takes about them 45 minutes to an hour to get to the main area. And I mean, I guess it's okay, but when it comes to having a toddler and trying to find a job that really best suits you as a person and as a sim, trying to make it into the world for the fresh new start where nobody knows you, can be hard, because when you don't have those set connections to help you, or set skills to help you, it can be hard. So I feel like maybe with the sim that I want to create with a toddler, I want them to be able to have a life where they can eventually, maybe just live off on their own income by working from home. And maybe they might work in an area that is best suited for them financially, like working as a barista part-time while babysitting part-time. I don't know just yet, but until then, we will figure some things out. So if you guys have any ideas for what type of sim should live here, I'm going for a single parent with a toddler. What job should they have? What are their set skills they should have? What relationships should they have? Let me know what you guys, what I should do for this story, because I for one want to go for it with this story and this build to make it all work well in its favor. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the whole story that I got for you. Hopefully you liked it. Enough said. But either way, back to the actual build itself, where I actually talk about the build. So this build took me about, I would say, about a week and a half to build because I built it last week, the shell of the house last week, and then I stopped building because I was kind of frustrated with like life and everything and drama that I just couldn't like really focus on building or the Sims at all. And that's why I haven't been posting videos, streaming, like I haven't been doing anything related to like my channel whatsoever for like the past like week. And I was going a little bit stir crazy and burnt out on everything. So I took a break without actually announcing of me taking a break from anything. So that's what I did, and then I joined TikTok. I know. I went to the dark side, as people would call it. And I joined TikTok, and I've been on it for about a week, and I'm obsessed with TikTok. I know. I love TikTok, and I can't stop making TikToks at all. So if you follow me on Twitter, which you should, I posted like 2 videos of my TikToks already. One was like my first one that I kind of did, that was like a dance, and then the second one was like a little bit of a joke, funny, renegade type of thing. And I think it was fun. I'm still going to do TikTok, so if you want to follow me on TikTok, I will have all my social media linked down below. But if you have TikTok, which I'm pretty sure everyone does at this point, either they download it as a joke or actually, pursue it as a fun little outlet like I do. My username is just SpringSims on TikTok. Yes, TikTok. I'm a millennial. Yo, yo, yee, y'all yeet. Okay, I'm done. Enough said. Anyway, I'm such a weenie, like SpongeBob at Weenie Hut Jr. What is this speed build? I'm rambling right now because I don't know what I'm saying. I haven't recorded a voiceover in about a week and a half, or technically 2 weeks, because my last video that I did was a speed build for Tiny Living, and that was pre-recorded like a week prior. So I'm like, how do I do a voiceover again? I don't remember. So I'm like trying to figure that out. But until then, we shall wait and see. And the thing I didn't realize when building this house, that when I was using debug, I was trying to find the perfect items to put in this house, and especially on the outside. With like my limited budget that I had, I ended up spending, I would say, about like 98,000 simoleons in total, I would say, and that's the majority of the inside of the house, and also the upstairs, technically in the roof, because I had the hardest time trying to make the upstairs work. Well, no, not actually technically the hardest time to make it work. Putting the toddler bed was easy. It was like very, very simple. But what I didn't realize, like, wait a minute, I have Tiny Living installed in my game. I can actually use the Murphy bed. Yeah, so that didn't work. I mean, I technically could have added a Murphy bed to it. You know what? Maybe my next speed build I'll probably do. I'll use the Murphy bed, but on the second floor, and see if it'll work, which it will. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build another tiny home, or another micro home actually, but this time for a newlywed couple. But you can see here where I'm actually placing the Murphy bed in the second floor, seeing if it will work. I'm about to soon like test it out and see if it will. It does work, but I realized it's blocking the door, so I was like, okay, what if I actually have this Murphy bed here, move the door somewhere different, and go along with that? But I realized that if I did that, the door will basically be popping out of the roof. So I was like, okay, scrap that. We're not going there. Let's just place a couch, maybe a TV, and go along with it. And it worked. I placed some clutter in the back area of the couch. This, said, and that. We Gucci, and we're done with the build, basically. And I feel like with this build, I, for one, want to try and think of a new way to build micro homes, or tiny homes, or small homes, or just homes in general, basically. I mean, when I first started building, I always went off of floor plans that I found on Pinterest, and I kind of still do, but I try not to replicate them to exact, like, pinpoint every single detail, nook and cranny, because when you're trying to build a real life house in The Sims, the proportions are extremely off, and your build could look a little bit look a little bit. So with some little minor details, it'll work. But yeah, that's pretty much it at this point in time. But what I think what I'm going to do is I feel like that if you guys want to see me build another micro home with even more limitations, let me know down below in the comments on what limitations I should go for. Like, challenge me to build something that I normally would not build and not use, or like I do use. Like, let's say I build a house without move objects and without, clutter items, or like, no move objects, no hidden objects, no unlock, no debug objects, just all the in-game objects that I have to my disposal and go along with it. I mean, it's probably easy. Like, I'm a pro. I think I'm a pro at building. I would say I'm a pro at building at some builds, but not really a pro. Yeah. I'm a pro, but not a pro at certain things. I think I'm a pro at, quote unquote, pro, air quotes of pro, at Creative Sim. I think I've been getting compliments like non-stop, like from everybody, I would say, that, oh, you make good Sims, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. I appreciate that so much. And I'm thinking, maybe I actually am good at making Creative Sim, or making Sims in CAS. But what about building, though? Is my buildings okay? I think they are. And I always tell all my friends that build in The Sims, even my friend Dab, she builds in The Sims all the time. She doesn't have a YouTube channel, but she's in my Twitch chat all the time. Love Dab. Dab's great. But I always tell her, always use debug. Debug is your friend. You can never go wrong with debug, because everything that's in your game that you want to use is in debug. You got cars in debug, you got plungers in debug, you got, I don't know, heaters in debug, you got all the things in debug. Utilize it to your advantage, make your houses better. So that's what I told her. And I told everyone in every video. So I'm like, like, wow, type of thing, So if you don't use debug now, I would say use debug to your disposal and see what you get. I would love to see your builds, what you do, how you build your houses. If you make videos, tweet them to me. I would love to see them. Link down below, Spring_Sims on Twitter, Instagram, SpringSims1, all the things. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually wrap up this voiceover right here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please go ahead and let me know down in the comments below, as always, of what you thought of this build. Would you like to see another micro home with more restrictions? If you do, let me know, and I will do that said build in the next couple of days. And I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys all in the very next video. Bye!